At the beginning of the story, we see a prison built on a deserted island. New prisoners were being brought in that day, one of whom was Edmond. As soon as he met the warden, Edmond pleaded, "Sir, please help me. I haven't done anything. I was sent here under false accusations." The warden calmly replied, "I know. If you had actually committed a crime, you would have been thrown into a prison inside the country. Only those who are victims of a conspiracy are sent here, to this faraway prison." Then the warden beat Edmond severely and locked him in his cell, which had only a wooden door and a small window. That door opened only once a year, when the warden came inside to beat them without any reason. Time passed, and being alone in the cell made Edmond extremely distressed. He once wrote on the wall, "God will give me justice." But as the years passed and 12 years went by, his faith in God began to fade. He felt he would remain imprisoned forever. Then one day, suddenly, the ground beneath his cell began to rise. The strange incident shocked him. At first he thought it was a ghost, but soon he saw a man coming out from below the ground. That man was Abbé, a prisoner from the lower floor. For the last 5 years, Abbé had been digging a tunnel. By sheer luck, the tunnel emerged directly into Edmond's cell, as if it were a sign from God. With Abbé's arrival, Edmond finally had someone to talk to after so many years of isolation. Abbé invited Edmond to his cell, and Edmond was overjoyed that he no longer had to scratch marks on the wall with stones to kill time. When Edmond entered Abbé's cell, he was stunned. Unlike the others, Abbé's room looked more like a modest hotel room. There were chairs for comfort and shelves filled with books. Abbé promised Edmond that if he helped with the tunnel, he would teach him in their remaining time. With nothing else to do, Edmond quickly agreed. Just as they were about to resume digging, they heard the footsteps of a guard. Terrified, Edmond ran back to his own cell and quickly prepared the trash bin, because the guard was due to check his floor. In this prison, the cell door opened only twice a day, once for collecting garbage and once for delivering dinner. Other than that, the whole day was theirs to dig freely without worry. Abbé cut a small bunch of his hair, struck sparks with stones, lit the hair, and used it to light a candle. Then both of them crawled into the narrow tunnel and continued digging. It was extremely cramped and difficult. Abbé estimated it would take at least 3 more years to reach outside. One day, while resting, Edmond discovered from one of Abbé's books that Abbé was once a skilled swordsman. From then on, Edmond insisted that unless Abbé taught him sword fighting, he would stop digging. Revenge had become Edmond's only purpose in life. Hearing this, Abbé agreed and began teaching him. He explained, "Speed is the greatest strength of a warrior." To demonstrate, he passed his hand through falling water droplets so fast that his hand didn't get wet. "The day your hand moves this fast, you'll be a true warrior." Then Abbé went back to digging while Edmond continued practicing. Later, Abbé broke wooden planks from the door to make mock swords and began teaching Edmond swordsmanship properly. When sword practice ended, Edmond focused on studies. His days were now filled with reading, digging, and training. After months of practice, Edmond's sword skills improved drastically, so much so that Abbé felt Edmond had surpassed him. One evening, Edmond learned that Abbé once worked for the wealthy Spada family. Napoleon had imprisoned Abbé to extract information about the family's hidden treasure. Edmond grew furious because Napoleon's betrayal was the very reason he too was imprisoned. Day by day, their digging brought them closer to freedom. One day, they saw roots breaking into the tunnel, proof they were near the surface. Their happiness was boundless. But soon disaster struck. The tunnel shook violently and collapsed, burying Abbé under stones and soil. Edmond panicked, cleared the debris, and dragged Abbé out. Abbé was gravely injured, his lungs crushed by a heavy rock. On his deathbed, Abbé weakly told Edmond that beneath a certain stone in his cell was a book, and beneath that book was something hidden. Edmond found a treasure map, the same map for which Abbé had been imprisoned. Abbé made Edmond promise to use the treasure for good and to stay away from evil. Edmond swore it, and moments later Abbé died. Edmond wept bitterly, once again feeling alone. Soon after, a guard came with food. Edmond hid. The guard saw Abbé's body, panicked, and went to report it. Edmond quickly covered the tunnel entrance. The guards returned, put Abbé's body in a bag, and left. Edmond hid silently, then crept back in. Staring at Abbé's corpse, Edmond had an idea. He switched places with the body inside the bag. Later, the warden and guards came to dispose of the body. Since the prison was on a deserted island, they decided to throw it into the sea. That stormy night, waves crashed so loudly that no one noticed Edmond secretly stealing the warden's keys. In the struggle, both Edmond and the warden fell into the sea. Edmond freed himself underwater, then drowned the warden mercilessly in revenge for years of torture. He swam far out into the sea. By next morning, he washed ashore on another island. Exhausted but alive, he was surrounded by pirates. Edmond thought he was doomed, but their leader Luigi offered him a chance. Fight their traitorous companion Jacopo. If Jacopo won, he'd rejoin their crew and Edmond would die. If Edmond won, he'd be set free. The duel began. Jacopo was skilled, but Edmond's techniques from Abbé were unbeatable. Jacopo couldn't even touch him. At the right moment, Edmond disarmed and pinned him, but spared his life. He told Luigi, "We're both skilled men. Why waste us? Finding good pirates isn't easy." Impressed by Edmond's skill and mercy, Luigi spared them both. On the ship, Edmond shared his story. Touched, Luigi set him free to pursue revenge. Jacopo, grateful for Edmond saving his life, swore loyalty to him. Together they retrieved a boat and sailed to find Abbé's treasure. Edmond dove underwater into a hidden pool, found chests full of glittering gold, and loaded as much as possible. The entire hoard required a bigger ship, but Edmond's mind burned with vengeance rather than wealth. He bought a lavish mansion, disguised himself as a wealthy French nobleman, and threw grand parties to draw the attention of his old betrayer, Mondego. At a party, Mondego's son Albert introduced Edmond to his father. 13 years later, the betrayer and victim stood face to face, but Mondego failed to recognize Edmond, whose appearance had drastically changed. Meanwhile, Edmond plotted against the corrupt magistrate Villefort, who had also conspired to send him to prison. Villefort confessed his crimes in a trap Edmond set, leading to his arrest. Finally, Edmond confronted Mondego at the fortress where the stolen treasure had been hidden. When Mondego opened the chests, they found nothing but sand, and one small chess piece Edmond had given him long ago. Realizing the truth, Mondego attacked Edmond. They dueled fiercely, but Edmond overpowered him. Just as Edmond prepared to strike the killing blow, Albert intervened to save his father. In the chaos, Mondego tried to shoot Edmond, but Edmond managed to kill him in the end. With revenge complete, Edmond's fury finally subsided. He reunited with his beloved, determined to ensure no one else would ever suffer as he had. If you liked the video, then like it. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.